Well, good morning, everyone. Whether you're watching the recording or you're here, we're talking about the adventures of life. And I'm not sure how many of us would, when we put our hands up for this life, quite eagerly, yeah, I can do that. How many of us didn't realize quite what we were putting our hands up for? Well, I'm one of those. And that's life, and that's some of the challenges we face in life. And today we're going to explore a little bit about the alchemy of shifting some of the it's the archetype, often the childish archetypes we have, into something that works for us, smiling upon them. And so that we're going to be working towards a lovely meditation I love called Breaking the Mask. So welcome to the space. So let's get going. My leg is still giving me jip, which is one of the challenges of getting older, I think. And so we do what we can. So coming into as comfortable a seated position as you're able. Anything that can create a sense of being present to whatever is happening within you. Taking some breaths so that we are aware of how our breath is working in our bodies. It's the walking stick we hold on to in life as our breath. Recognizing without judgment, however your body is showing up this day. Knowing and also recognizing that some of the challenges that we are going into today are not always easy. And being kind and witnessing that in our own bodies. As an example, I find I'll avoid going to a medical doctor until I have to. And I needed to just to see if I needed an X-ray on my leg and this week. And we're really lucky where we live that we can get into a doctor quite fast. And she took my blood pressure and it was really high. So she was concerned about it. But there was something in me that knew my body was feeling under pressure because I was at the doctor's. So she said, please, can you take your blood pressure twice a day? As soon as I got home, my blood pressure went back down to normal. And the next morning, back to normal. So it's recognizing and being in tune to the parts of our body, our nervous system, a whole body system that get frightened, and being kind to those parts of us. So coming now and being kind and gentle as we practice. Coming into an awareness. Because these protectors, even my blood pressure was trying to protect me from something. And witnessing. Witnessing your breath, witnessing how your body is before you adjust it, how are your shoulders, what's happening in your head, in your belly. Coming home to that which we always were and always will be. And now bring attention to anything that's a bit tense. You might not even be aware of it, like my blood pressure. Paying attention to the thoughts that circle like sharks in our minds, trying to get out of an impossible scenario where we're wanting to change a story. But the story is the story. What's happening is happening. And we can't always get out, but we can go to a different place. Just to begin by being aware of those stories. So focusing in on where we're at. And with hands that are compassionate and kind and witnessing without any judgment, bring your hands to the place on your body that might need a little bit of softening or witnessing without changing anything. See where your hands land. Working at witnessing and unshaming any part of us that is feeling like it's got cracks or it's not performing. Because breaking the mask is all about letting go of the performance. Being a witness to our own perfect imperfection. Holding your hands there for a moment longer to, as a witness, maybe to the warmth of the energy that is coursing through you, can let you know that you too belong, whether it's a frightened part or a overthought part, a part that feels broken, or an over dramatized part. Because that's the story of life, is the drama. And releasing down, touching, feeling, letting every part know that it belongs. Nothing is excluded. And as we come now to chant, as we hold our community together, which is both robust and fragile, sweeping our hands right round into the space that we hold without fear, bringing our hands right down from the heavens down to the heart. We connect with the Om, the infinite one that has no judgment, not here to judge. It's here to grow us, grow the light that's already there within us. And connect with that deep, the Guru deep within. Love knows love. We cannot hunt for love because it's elusive. Until we understand we are love, holding our hands right there at that center of love. Just breathing in deeply and out, and in to begin. Om Namo Gurudev Namo. Om Namo Gurudev. Now, breathing in, suspending the breath, and releasing. Giving ourselves a bit of a shake, just to wake up the nervous system. Whole body, let it shake, so that it can release its nervous energy. And then we're going to do a few warm-ups, and then we're going to do that aerobic set before we go into the meditation called Breaking the Mask. So let's start with a Sufi grind, moving the hips, moving the lower chakras, those base chakras that help with our instinctual energy, grounding us, holding us down to the earth, the need of that young child to mark its territory and say, me first. Just feeling that the hips, the lower regions, the anus, the sex organs, all moving with these very powerful energies of life, the life force, the water, the rock elements. And let your body be grounded and rooted in this unmovable part of us that is stable. And yet within it, it contains the fire. Using your breath, letting your upper torso, all those upper chakras, trust the base. So you're moving in ever bigger circles, softening the upper body, letting it flop into its rooting system. Coming to the center and changing directions. Explore your body in this, explore your own rooting. From a young age, we learn to adapt to what other people expect of us, want from us, demand from us. Had a couple of weeks of going to many different concerts, and one was in London yesterday with Richard's great aunt's piano, Myra Hess. And they were absolutely amazing musicians, and it was just so lovely seeing people fully embodying their own life, their own gifts in their music. And yet there was also the performance going on. And in the performance, we present ourselves as a masked identity. Just letting that all go, grounding down into who we always were. And coming back to the center, do some spinal work, moving forward and back. Flexing. Now moving up, recognizing still the base chakras that ground us. Myra Hess was a very famous concert pianist in the Second World War, and there's a new book about her. But she was a very strong woman. Hadn't realized quite how strongly grounded she was. She had really strong arms. She had a strong presence. And she wasn't afraid to call things out. She had her core strength. Doesn't mean that she was always in her highest centers. She was being fully human. And that's why I think she was so loved, because she showed up unmasked of who she was. Now bringing up the legs out in front. It's giving ourselves a stretch up, back, straight back, arms out over the toes if you can, stretching the life nerve all the way up, feet flexed, eyes closed, chin tucked in, shoulders dropped, feeling that stretch. We're coming into the fullness of our beings with a long, straight back, not afraid to show up beyond the mask. And now moving dynamically up and down to stretch that life nerve. Reaching up, taking a breath in, pulling the root lock, tightening the bottom muscles, drawing the energy up to the higher centers. And release. And let's just come down just to do a bit more stretching. This is one of my favorite new exercises. Works very much now at the core. Legs, the lower legs parallel to the ground, the upper legs vertical, and tapping down, pushing down into the center on the out breath, the toe to the ground, breathing in as you come up. It's a very controlled movement of holding that center of the solar plexus. As we hold our ground, we have a much greater chance of showing up unmasked. Because very much the masking is about needing to feel safe. So we employ strategies like Carolyn Myss would talk about the archetypes of the child, the cute child that sort of plays cute just so that you won't eat them up. How could you be mean to a puppy or a kitten or a child? These are strategies to help us to feel safe, but they're also strategies of masking. Another strategy, quite a childish one, is, and I know I use this a lot, is when I'm not centered right here in the middle, I can lose something of what I hold very valuable. And Carolyn Myss calls it the prostitute. We prostitute ourselves to something that we don't fully believe in order to be accepted. Holding that center, giving us the best chance to unmask. Because when we're centered, then we don't need to use as many masks. Last few, feeling the upper thighs, the strengthening of this position, and the holding And release both feet down. Bringing the feet as close to your bum as you can. Hands touching the back of the Achilles heel if you can, or just by your bum. Lifting up, tightening the bottom muscles, opening the lower spine, holding that position. It's a very delicate balance between holding our strength and relaxing into it, and releasing down and coming up again. Feel the shaking of the bum behind as it tightens and holds and supports us. And down again. And last time. And release down. Release your legs down. Take a few long, deep breaths. Allowing yourself to be fully human, fully present to how you are showing up with all the masks we wear, but slowly unmasking as we feel more safe. And bringing to mind someone who you know that is so comfortable in who they are that they don't need to hold masks. They show up with who they are, their vulnerabilities, their assholeness. And around those people, we know we relax, we feel comfortable because they've shown up without needing to present an image to us. And part of showing up is showing up with our imperfections. Not putting onto social media the perfect images, but the rough diamond images of us just showing up. Because as we judge ourselves less, so we'll find that other people appreciate that. And coming up now, we're going to do the set before we go into the meditation. I'm just going to close this so I don't go into the clouds and the mist so much. So we're going to be using the mantra har, 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 which is the mantra of being grounded. So feel yourself grounded as we start moving in and out on your heels, feeling the springs of your body absorbing and accommodating imperfection. And some of the people I see unmasked will show up with their imperfections. And they hold their humanity without needing to be pretending to be something they're not. And just moving our legs, our toes, our feet, feeling into that grounded experience of being longing to the earth and not being separate. Marching a bit just to loosen the muscles. And then lifting one foot up, holding the balance. Bringing that foot, if you can, onto the side. Just notice how hard it is to hold our balance. and how much our body works at finding balance. And to the other foot, experiment a little bit. I'm on my sheepskin, which doesn't give me so much stability, so I've moved onto the carpet. Notice what's happening under your foot that's holding you without judgment. Just notice. See if you can relax down into the earth, rooting down. This is the God of the Har, the manifest God, the incarnate God, the part of us that is here on earth for a season. So now we're going to use the mantra Har, 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 Har. We're going to do, I've forgotten how many, so 8 times. So we're going to start with clapping our hands 8 times over our head. Har, 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 har. Then we go straight down to, going down to the ground and hitting and touching the ground if you're able to with your hands 8 times. Har, 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 har. And then we go straight to hand coming up and flapping our wings. Har, 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 har. And then we go into crossing our legs. Har, 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 har. Crossing our arms and our legs. Go into archer. And we do it dynamically, moving our knee down as much as we can. Har, 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 har. The next one is leaning back. Har, 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 har. And then we go from side to side. Har, 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 har. So it's clapping, hitting the ground, flapping our wings, archer, leaning back, and then side to side. So we're not going to do it that fast. We do it meaningfully, holding ourselves all the time in balance. We're working the heart. It's a good aerobic workout. So clapping the hands. Har, 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 har. Touching the ground. Har, 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 har. Flapping. Har, 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 har. Crossing legs and arms. Har, 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 har. Archer dynamic. Har, 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 har. Back bend, miracle bend back. Har, 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 har. And side to side. Har, 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 har. And we start again, clapping. Har, 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 har. To the ground. Har, 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 har. Flapping. Har, 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 har. Crossing legs. Har, 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 har. Archer. Har, 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 har. Back arch. Har, 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 side, har, 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 and again, har, keeping that har right into the navel point. So we're feeling the groundedness and hitting the ground. Har, 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 flapping har, 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 crisscrossing har, 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 archer, and vary the side, har, 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 back bend, har, 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 side bend, har, 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 and keep going on your own, feeling that har, 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 har. Last one, and we're doing it much slower for the last 2 rounds. Har, 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 har. Write down now. Har, 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 har. Ah, 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 ah. Now go into yourself and do it one more time, all in your own space. Feeling the movements, staying in your body, feeling the strain of moving against gravity. Meditatively move aerobically, feeling each muscle as it's working for you in this human body with all its aches and pains and challenges. And as you finish, slowly coming down to the ground, short relaxation. Noticing what's happening in your body, what natural defenses come up. These protectors, one of those childish protectors that shows up a lot in my life is the saboteur, the one who keeps procrastinating or sabotages my own best intentions. So if I sabotage myself, I might not be shamed by someone else. Very clever strategies that we have to survive. Coming down, lying down, allowing your heart rate to slow down. And just again bringing to mind those people who you experienced as unmasked. They turn their own crevices and cracks and fallibilities into something beautiful. That's the alchemy. And I see them more and more. I'm drawn more and more to those that hold this huge amount of presence just because they've accepted themselves for who they really are. And as we witness people like that, it allows us too to let go of some of the masks that we wear to protect us. Relaxing right down into Mother Earth. Noticing your breath, prana that comes from everywhere and nowhere, that the world in its beauty has alchemized that we may live and breathe. The greatest miracle that we can be living here on this earth. And also at particularly my age, that I can live well and die well on this earth. As we move into different phases of our lives, so we embrace, knowing many have gone before us and they've broken the masks. Sometimes it's like a trance. Some of the masks I wear, I know that I'm kind of fatally drawn like a moth to a flame to certain trance-like states where I'm caught in a whirlpool of this world. To always be in a form of duality of rights and wrongs and goods and bads. Allowing yourself to dissolve and alchemize that into lying in complete trust that the earth has got as holding us. Now coming up, we're going to go into this meditation, which is called Breaking the Mask. And we're going to use the mantra Haraji. So it's the Hara, and so I always pull my navel point in on the Hara. Haraji, that's G is an intimate form of greeting. Say love. You say hello G, hello dear one. So it's Haraji. So we're saying that to ourselves. Haraji, Haraji. Then it goes Hara, 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 Haraji. So it's 5. Hara, 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 Haraji. So it's Haraji, Haraji, Hara. Sorry. Haraji, Hara, 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 Haraji, Haraji. It's 2 Harajis. Haraji, Haraji, Hara, 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 Haraji, 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 Hara, 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 Haraji. And I like to do it in a very low vibration. And as we do it, we're going to have our hands in what we call lotus mudra. So the palms, the heels of the hands are together. The pinkies and the thumbs are like holding a bowl. So it's a lotus flower position right at the heart center. And as we do it, we're going to start with just a short breath and do one Haraji, Haraji, Hara, 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 Haraji. Take a deeper breath. Haraji, Haraji, Hara, 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 Haraji. And a very deep breath. Haraji, Haraji, Hara, 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 Haraji. And the idea is you feel the vibration going right down you, focusing with your eyes at the tip of your nose, just looking at this lotus flower. Last week, we looked at this blue lotus flower on the ocean of fire, a Thich Nhat Hanh image of one of his first books. And so we hold this lotus flower, holding our grounding on a sea of fire, which is never comfortable. So let's start with doing a short breath. Haraji, Haraji, Hara, 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 Haraji. Bigger breath. Haraji, Haraji, Hara, 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 Haraji. Bigger breath. Haraji, Haraji, Hara, 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 Haraji. Now we're going to take a big long breath and keep going with that Harajis until your breath's all gone, and then take another big breath. Haraji, Haraji, Hara, 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 Haraji. 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 Feel your tongue bouncing on the roof of your mouth. Haraji, Haraji, Hara, 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 Haraji. 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 Last one. Haraji, Haraji, Hara, 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 Haraji. Bringing this energy close to your heart, breaking the mask, showing up as we are, with our humanness, with our tears, sometimes with broken hearts, showing up for our imperfections, our weaknesses, our vulnerabilities, and becoming our own witnesses. Bringing our hands into prayer mudra, we close with 3 sat. Breathe in to begin. Sam. And take a bow to that seed of great truth within each one of us. That Sat Nam.